how do you perform regression testing of your SAP Cloud Integration or CPI system? I think that's one of the questions that a lot of customers have asked. Can we actually ensure that the updates that's being applied each month does not affect anything in our system? And the answer is no. SAP obviously try to do the best thing they can to avoid these things. And one of the things they have had previously was you could engage with them and send a number of iFlows to them. They would be able to mock and run in their own lab to ensure that it did not break your code. Then now they have opened up the service so you also as a user would be able to perform these tests yourself. So they have added this new update that would allow you to delay upgrade of your systems with a week. So each the monthly update, it will be delayed by a week, which makes a lot of sense to avoid some of these problems that can arise. But if you only have a week, you need to have a good way to run regression testing. And that is one of the places where I think the Figaf tool can help you make it easier to run these things. So the Figaf tool is a standalone Java application that makes it really easy for you to create recordings of existing iFlows, run these, and see if there's any differences. So here we have an iFlow. We can select recording. We will group this into a test suite. We'll just also give it a name. And we now have created a test suite with just one message in. We could also have multiple messages in if we wanted to create it for multiple messages at the time. So now I can send a message into this iFlow, and this will take a little while for it to process first, and then once it has processed, we can pull all the messages that we got from this iFlow. And yeah, we are using the trace mode that allows you to fetch all payloads. It's also possible to say I only want certain parts of this flow, and then obviously you are not comparing as many messages. So now we have fetched a payload, a recording. We can say we want to run this on which systems we have, if you have multiple systems in it. And now it is really easy for me to just select run, and this will then run this iFlow on, or this instance on my system, and I'll be able to see the result here. So let's look at the result, and obviously this takes a little while for it to process because it first needs to trigger the iFlow, get the status back, and then it needs to do a lot of comparison. So we can see it found some of the first messages here, and now it seems like everything is success. So this is all good if you have iFlows that are normal. So this one, I actually had an option in here in my settings that says do not use original endpoint but use mock endpoint. And what this setting does is it goes in and create a mock iFlow that instead of pointing to the original receivers, point to Figaf receivers. That means that everything can be mocked, and the Figaf system will just calculate. After this step, you need to have these items in place, and then you would be able to process all of this, and it also mocks all the other endpoints in this. So it makes it really easy for you to set up mocking of services. If we do not want the mocking, we can just go and select do not mock services, and if we run this test again, so now it would not use the mock result here. And we now have our unfinished result. So obviously we would still need to wait a little for this, but now we can see it runs it on the original iFlow. And just to show you what this looks like, it looks much the same, but here we're using an OData that points to an OData org service. And if we press refresh, we can see that everything works successfully. And obviously, if you want to look at some of the payloads, you can go in and see what is different. If there is a field you know would always be different, you can just go in and add an ignore expression for this using XPath, which makes it really easy for you to ignore these elements. I hope this is helpful and you want to check out how the Figaf tool can help you automate the regression testing so you can make it within a week and be able to document that it works successfully for you. So go to figaf.com and try it out. Thank you.